Hi, everybody. We're just waiting for a few people to join. It is 10:30 exactly, and Corbin is in the back room on private chat with us. She is our production manager, and yeah, this is our first time doing a live class using LinkedIn Live and YouTube. And this is our very, very first time trying out this live streaming tool. So you can pardon any potential issues that we have. We're all going to learn as we go along. So yeah, I think we can probably get started with our icebreaker activity. It's a little bit of show and tell in terms of getting to know each other and things like that. And I'll kick it off to Alice. Alice Strachan. Take it away, Alice.
Thank you. So we're so excited that you're here today at our first live class, our Connect, Enable, Transform series. And, our topic is eliminate boring meetings. So this will be our example of far from a boring meeting. So we're going to show you a lot of things today. We're going to move fairly quickly. We're going to talk about not only physical ways in which you can connect, enable, transform. We're going to talk about the ways in which you personally can connect, enable, transform. So we wanted to start off with our icebreaker. So I'm going to share my screen. And on that screen, you are going to see our icebreaker, which hopefully, let me just confirm with my friends that they're seeing the screen.
Yeah, I just made sure we're seeing the screen, Alice.
Excellent. So what we ask you to do, and this is one way, of course, of connecting with people at any meeting that you might be, is to connect to them on a bit of a personal level to start with, which is what we decided to do with you today. So get people to talk about things that they have in common. And so what we asked you to tell us was, when it's safe to do so again, when we're feeling comfortable being able to travel again, where do you want to go? And we can see that a bunch of you have already put your information in. So what you need to do is those colorful stickies on the left-hand side. If you click on those, you will be able to put in your name and where you want to go. And then you can drag it to the world map. And don't worry, we're not going to test your geography. We're just going to hope that you get it close to where it actually is. If you are finding the view is small and you're using a mouse, use your track wheel and you can make things bigger or smaller. So just give everybody a minute to share that dream vacation with us. I can see a few of you moving around. Somebody has shared, my grandfather was a prospector in that area in the 30s, and my son lives there now. How exciting is that? So just being able to find out a little bit about the people that you're meeting with and talk about something that you all have in common, place you'd like to go, is a fantastic way of starting off a meeting that enables people to connect and transform. So let's just have a look at where people are wanting to go. So as I zoom in, I see somebody who wants to go to Freeport, Bahamas. I see Bert. I think that's Africa. We don't do spell check in here. It's all good. So Bert wants to go to Africa. Jane wants to go to Halifax. Dave, Alaska. Oh, we could have a party in Hawaii because we've got.
There's Michael Loken. My friend Michael Loken is in the house.
Excellent.
The Bear. Where are you going to, Michael?
I see a bunch in Nicobar and Andaman. I see Spain. I see Barcelona. I see Italy. I see China, England, Scotland, all around the world. So fun little way, gives you a little taste of mural. That's the whiteboard that you're on right now. And gives you just a little sense of how you can have a little bit of fun. Because of course, like anything, the way in which we set the tone in the first few minutes of our meetings is what's going to make the difference for how people engage. So Gordon's just trying to figure out where he wants to travel to now. I know lots of you would like to put multiple stickies everywhere. Encourage you to continue to populate this map. It's kind of fun to go back and look and share and dream a little bit. We don't get to do a lot of that right now. And just a chance for people to talk about what they where they want to go. So I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm going to take us to our presentation for today and turn it back to Neha, who is our next presenter. So thanks for sharing your dreams with us.
I have to say, Alice, Antarctica is not missing. My father-in-law, who's a geographer, would not approve of that particular world's map. So the people, I'm just going to go take a peek at the world's map while we're here just to see. Where did Michael Loken end up? Did we find out where Michael ended up?
I didn't see his.
Okay. And Gord Fellows. And I'm really curious how the chat functionality works. Like if Corbin, do we have chats coming in? Like this is a new tool for us, everybody. So we're just trying to figure out if we can get the chat working. We can see the LinkedIn Live. Okay, so on LinkedIn, the chat's coming through. So bear with me a second, everybody. I'm going to jump into our presentation right now, but I want to make sure that I can actually see your chat so I can actually respond to your chats, because the whole point of being live is we can have an interaction. And what doesn't make something a boring meeting is when you can see yourself in the picture. That's the number one thing that doesn't make something a boring meeting. So let me just look at the messages coming through. I see 4 messages. There we go. We have a few in the event chat. All right, I think that I will be able to see. So Mimi Keenan says, Alice, is there another link? Corbin said, yeah, so, and then.
YouTube is working. Okay, so we'll get the YouTube link there. Let's do that then.
All right, so Corbin can get us the YouTube link there and there.
Excellent.
Awesome. Hi, Noreen.
Oh, there. Excellent. So for those of you who are in, there's the YouTube link right there in the LinkedIn Live if you want to go and watch there. And there we are. And now my voice is coming through twice. There we go. Never want to hear your own voice, right?
Your voice is the sound of music. I see the visiting spider there. Somebody going there. Oh, Randa. Hi, Randa. I have there. You're a little bit lost there at the bottom. I see you moving up there, Randa. I don't know where that is. I think maybe that looks like close to India where you're trying to go. All right, everybody. So Alice, I think, are you putting up the presentation for us?
I will.
Cool. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I am going to try to make the presentation the focus of today. I just want to do a brief introduction to a lady that's been very quiet. She's our guest of honor here, Karyn Ross. Karyn Ross, she needs no introduction for me. I've known Karyn for about 5 years now. She's my coach and co-author of Shingo Prize-winning book, Lean for Service Excellence, and most recently, the author of the New School for Kind Leaders. So Karyn's going to talk a lot to us about how to connect and engage with our employees. And I'm just going to do a brief 2 to 3 minute overview of what digital dexterity is about and what digital first is and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to try and mute the sound. I'm not sure if the sound's coming through okay or not to everybody. Like I'm trying to mute the music here. Yeah, chat is working. So I have, and here's Corbin on the back channel trying to communicate with us. Okay. Can someone verify the recording is working? Yes, Corbin, the recording is working for us right now. All good. We're all good to go. It takes a whole production team to get something like this set up. So thank you for your patience, and we're good to go. And that's our little heart. That's the heart that Karyn's been showing. Love. That's a love sign right there. Okay, cool. So, what digital dexterity through digital first? We've been quite quiet, and the reason we've been quite quiet is because we've been very busy working on something, and it's basically figuring out how do we take advantage of all the digital tools that are out there in the digital world. How do we make it accessible? How do we make something work for you guys that is allowing you to lead technology change within your workplace? And when I say you guys, I mean managers in the workplace. So there's 3 tenets of digital first as connect, enable, and transform. And I'm only going to answer 3 questions on the next 3 slides, and then I'm going to hand it off to Karyn. So Alice, maybe move on to the next slide. So what is digital dexterity? Digital dexterity is not a concept that we put together. Gartner came in 2015, came up with a really interesting article on digital dexterity. I found this definition online on Quixie, so I just sort of included it in here. The quote is in there. So digital dexterity is the ability of employees to adapt and adopt existing and emerging technologies in their field to produce better results for their company. So that's pretty much it. And the key here is for the employees to adapt and adopt the technologies. And we know that that's the biggest pain that we're all experiencing, is how do we get our employees to do the adoption? And if we go to the next slide, what we did is, in trying to figure out how do we get our employees engaged and involved, what we did is we created a people-centered philosophy delivered as a series of expertly facilitated workshops for managers and leaders who need to get their team adopting new technology changes. So these workshops ensure that people, the people who are actually undergoing the change are the ones defining, embracing, and leading the change, unlike hiring expensive change management consultants to lead change within your organization. So a lot of people attending today too don't really have budgets for big change management consultants. And so we've come up with really accessible, very actually today, if you stay till the end, you will be able to just pay what you can for a workshop. So, and it's a donation option on Eventbrite. So you can pay $0 if that's all you can pay. So if you stay towards the end, that's one of the offers that we're going to be giving you guys. And so there's 3 workshops that we're launching initially, and that's the Digital First Champion. And if you go to the next, and change awareness and the rapid process transformation, which I'll talk about later. But right now, today, the purpose of the live class series, you are here, is to basically connect you with the Digital First Champion certification. So you start with collecting 3 buttons, and each live class is a button that you earn, and you can publish that on your LinkedIn live site. So when you start here, you're connected with Digital First. The next class that you come to, you'll collect your enable button. So I enable using. And the third one is I transform through. And I highly encourage getting your team involved in this, everybody. So if you guys are managers, if you guys are leaders in any form, and if you don't have your manager, and you should, definitely get them involved. This particular recording will be available on LinkedIn as well, and we are going to be making it a live class series. There is a bit of a quiz you have to complete in order to earn your credential. So it's not, you have to sort of pay attention today in order to earn your button. And really, we want you, in addition to getting a Digital First Champion badge, we want to provide, the first 10 organizations that sign up for free. So it's basically not free, but pay what you can price that's right for your organization and team. And the pay what you can price is inspired by Karyn Ross, because Karyn very much is a proponent of of just saying, just allow people to pay what they can. She's all about New School for Kind Leaders. So that's where it comes from. And of course, as we go along, you can access our experts and our assessments to help you better lead change within your organization. So whether you sign up for a workshop or not, you can still access some of the tools that we're going to be providing to you. So I think now the next slide is handing it off to Karyn. So I'm just going to hand this off to Karyn. next, and off we go.
Thank you so much, Neha. Welcome, everybody. Corbin, thank you in the background for organizing us and keeping us all going. And Alice, thank you for the kindness. You're going to, change the slides for me. So, Neha, one thing I can guarantee for everyone, anyone who's going to do anything with PACE, it's never going to be boring. We're going to learn a lot of different things. And when we think about connecting, enabling, and transforming, and that kind of change management effort, and oftentimes we think it's going to take a big budget and a lot of effort. One thing that I can guarantee you is to help people to connect, enable, and transform. The best thing that's going to help them is kindness. And the wonderful thing about kindness and kindness from leaders is it's free and it's not a superpower. It's something that's human it's inside all of us. So today we're going to have a little brief talk about towards a better future through kind leadership, because the only way to create a better, kinder world is through our own leadership. So Alice, if you will advance the slide, that will be great. So throughout the last year and a half of the COVID pandemic, I've spent a lot of time reflecting about the past, from the times that we were in lockdown and just seeing all the different things happening in the recent past, so much turmoil, so much social unrest, so many difficult things for so many people. And in reflecting on the past, it really made me think a lot about the future and what I imagine and envision and really desire for that future to be, because we're not going backwards. The truth is, we're going forwards. So what I'd like everybody to do is to just take a moment, close your eyes, and think about the future. All right. Now, everybody, just keep that image in your mind as we go through the slides for the next few minutes of what you envision the future to look like. And Alice, if you'll take us to the next slide. So let's talk for a moment about something that I really thought about a lot during the pandemic, and it's how all living things grow. So I've never been much of a gardener, but like a lot of people who were at home during the pandemic thinking about things to do, I thought, oh, why don't I try a little bit of gardening? And my fabulous daughter who lives in New York City sent me some seeds to start, and my next door neighbor, who is like the world's best gardener, brought me this little pot that you can see on the screen that had these 3 little seedlings that were already growing from his garden plot. And he said, well, they were here in the spring from the garden plot. I think they're sunflowers. It'll look beautiful in your backyard. Why don't you plant them? So I was like super excited. I took the 3 little seedlings out of that little pot. I planted them. I dug the little hole every day. What did I do? I went and I watered them. I looked at them. I talked to them. It's been beautiful and sunny over here. I live near Chicago. And the seedlings, with all that care, grew. But guess what? Look at the middle picture. They weren't sunflowers. Turns out, actually, I have a fabulous pumpkin patch in my backyard. And each of the 3 different seedlings, one of them is growing little mini pumpkins that are white with green on them. One is growing mini pumpkins that are white and orange. One is growing mini pumpkins that are just all plain white. And it was a wonderful surprise. And the joy I got from caring for these little seedlings, and even though they didn't turn into exactly what I thought they were going to be, I think I got something better. I got all these pumpkins, right? At the same time, a bird a robin built a nest in the forsythia bush I have in my backyard. And every day I went out to the backyard and I looked and I could see the eggs, and then the eggs hatched, and then the baby birds got bigger and bigger, and the mother bird and the father bird were flying back and forth with the worms and 24 hours a day feeding these little baby birds. And they got bigger and bigger and bigger, and I could see them. If you look closely, you can see their little yellow beaks, 3 of them peeking outside of the nest. And I was going to see them every day. And then one day I went outside in the morning to look at my baby birds, and guess what? The nest was empty. I was an empty nester, because just like all things, with care and love and kindness, whether from us as humans or from the bird parents, things grow and they flourish and they learn to fly. So I really thought, if speaking kindly to plants and just taking care of the birds helps them grow, imagine what would happen if we treated people in exactly the same way, not just the people in our family, not just the people we love, the people who work in our organizations. We give them the care and the water and the food and the skills that they need to fly. So Alice, change the sign. So over the pandemic, I also wrote a book about kind leadership, because when I looked at all of the things that are happening in the world, I thought, what is the core of all of this? Failures of kindness, failures of leadership. So let's take a moment and think about, well, what really is kindness? Kindness is an action. It's something we do, or a set of actions that connects our internal feelings of empathy, that being able to put ourselves in someone else's shoes and understand their situation, and compassion, that feeling of once we put ourselves in their shoes and understood things from their perspective, we really connected, right? That compassion, that wanting to alleviate someone else's suffering. And that action is undertaken with the purpose of generating a positive effect and outcome from another. So connecting, right? Having that feeling of connection to another. And then enabling them, doing an action to transform, to create a positive effect and outcome from others. That's what kindness is. So Alice, go forward a little bit. So really, when we think about it, all living things grow from kindness and from the kindness of their leadership. So kind leadership is key. People cannot grow to be their best when they live and work in fear. So remember that old cartoon? Maybe some of you are like my age and remember the employer shouts at the employee who goes home, who shouts at their spouse or partner, the spouse of the partner shouts at the child kicks the dog. Well, it doesn't end there, because that child goes to school and bullies other children, and that child then grows up and becomes the leader who, from example, shouts at their employees, who doesn't connect, who doesn't enable, who doesn't help people transform, because all living things grow through kindness. People can't grow to be their best when they live and work in fear. So it's our job as leaders, and every single one of us is a leader, to lead with kindness. So Alice, if you can change the slide. Where there is kindness, there's the potential for trust. And where there's trust, people, like plants and baby birds, will grow and blossom. So think about it. Your leader at work connects with you, enables you to learn and grow and do things that you never thought were possible before. Then you're going to take all the things you've learned and all the ways you've learned to interact with people back to your family, out into the community. And you're going to create a virtuous circle of trust. And people will believe that leaders have their best interests at heart. And when we believe someone has our best interests at heart, we're going to blossom and grow. You never know. You might have thought you got a sunflower and it'll be a pumpkin, but hey, that's okay. So if you have any questions or wonder when you're working with a team about how to transform, the first thing is to think about kindness. What can you as a leader do to be kind? So Alice, next slide, please. So I want you to close your eyes one more time, just for a moment, and think about the future again. Look at that picture that you had in the beginning and think, what can you do? What will your first step be to move towards a better future through kindness? All right. Keep that thought in your mind and turn it to an action when you go back to work. The future is in your hands. And if you want to know any more about kind leadership, please visit our website, kindleadership.org. We're going to be having Kind Leadership Week, September 13th to 17th. And here's a few of the other books and resources that you can have. And Neha, thank you for your kindness in inviting me here and in sharing this with everybody.
Awesome. Thank you, Karyn. I appreciate that. And you know, there's real intent and purpose behind Karyn kicking off the series is because, you know, digital first, I think the most obvious question is why digital first? It should be people first. And it's like, it's all about people first, actually. And it's always been about people first, but we don't know how to make it about people first. I think that's the challenge, is how do you make it about people first? How do you get people engaged? How do you get people involved? And make it about that. So I think if you go to the next slide, Alice. So basically, if you have a digital change that's currently going on in your organization, this is a micro assessment I want you guys to do with yourselves right now as you guys are watching. And when you talk about a digital change that you need people to use new systems or use systems differently, or pretty much any kind of change, actually, not just digital change. Here's a 4-question survey for you. So the first question is it my idea? So when I say my, I don't mean me as the manager, my idea. I mean my as in the people undergoing the change. Is it indeed their idea? So that's a good question that I'm just going to put out there. And I'm just going to look in the chat to see if there's any feedback in the chat in terms of, you know, how often is a change actually is a change actually you know, the people who are undergoing the change their idea. And the big the big question after that is like, well, you know, it can't be their idea all the time. It's probably corporate that tells us that change is going to happen. But how do you make it their idea? Right? So how do you enable them to make it their idea is the question. And that's some of the products we'll be doing a quick demo on. The other question is it useful? So there, in the subsequent slide, I'll define useful in further detail. But there is such a thing called a technology adoption model that's been around since the 70s, actually. So it's not something brand new that I'm bringing to you. This technology adoption model has been around forever and ever. Our digital adoption methodology is based on that. And the technology adoption model talks about 2 things. It talks about usefulness and it talks about usability. So is it useful? Is it simple to adopt is the next question. So is it simple to adopt? And the last question has nothing to do with the technology adoption model, but a couple other change management models. And really, social media is to blame now. Is like, is everyone doing it? So there is not everyone's going to get to all 4, but our basic premises. So if you go to the next one, Alice, I'll then do a little demo in a second. So our next premises is you can make it their idea, and some of our products will show you specifically how you can make it their idea. You can make things useful. So when we talk about useful, it means, is it enhancing or replacing a tedious job that the user is already doing? Is it part of the user's regular work expectations / responsibilities? So, you know, a lot of people are like, they'll change because they get paid to change. Certainly, they will get changed if they get paid to change, only if you're checking in with them with kindness and saying, hey, like, this is something that I need from you. So oftentimes managers are the ones that can enable change to happen by making it part of people's daily responsibilities. The other one is making it simple to adopt. So is the new system or change easily usable, right? Is there a good plan to introduce or coach people on the new system or change? And are the expectations of change adoption clear? So the second question is what everybody focuses on. So you have a change happening, and out of all of these things, everybody focuses on, is there a good plan to introduce and coach the people on a new system? Is there a training plan? Let's go. And we don't think about anything else because everybody focuses on a good plan to introduce the change. They don't think about making it their idea. They don't think about, is it indeed useful? They don't think about replacing the old. And at the end, you know, there are going to be laggards. There are going to be people who will just not be able to get to that level of adoption. Just like Karyn here, we're still trying to convince her to use Mural. So there is going to still be some laggards, and that's what we do for them, is we then give them the support they need. Because oftentimes we try to paint everyone with the same brush, but everyone is unique. And there are people who need a little bit extra support to get on board and to use different things. So if we go back to our mural board that Alice had shared earlier, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, we can't mess it up right now, the mural board. So let's go back to the mural board. I see there's a visiting owl there. And I'm going to show you a part of the mural board you probably didn't see initially. So I'm going to summon you to my view here. And am I sharing my screen, Alice, or are you sharing your screen?
I am.
Okay, you're sharing. Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure I was like, I don't remember sharing my screen, but I see it up, so you're good.
It's all good. Having fun. It's all good.
Yeah. So, you know, because the question is, how do you get started, right? So we're not intending to be here more than 45 minutes. So we're just going to give you a bit of an introduction. How you get started is by getting your team on the same page. So something as simple as, you know, getting their ideas at the table and getting them thinking about things. So this is an example of a visioning workshop that we deliver. And as part of today, so let me just go down to our offer here. So as part of today, the first 10 people can get access for us to customize a visioning workshop for your team. So it has to be a team of 3 or more. And you can just basically pay what you can. So you can decide what you're able and willing to pay for this particular workshop. And it's a donation amount. So maybe there's a donation amount of 0, and that's okay too. So you decide what you're able and willing to pay for a visioning workshop. And what we will do is we will help you get started with one of these visioning workshops. And it comes, let me just share. Oh, there is there's the bit.ly link over there. Corbin, would you mind sharing that in the LinkedIn Live chat? That would be really good in terms of adding that to the LinkedIn Live notification chat. And I'm thinking about the actual Eventbrite link to add it in there so that we could go from there. I think I have it on our Teams channel. So I'll show you what the Eventbrite includes and what it doesn't include. It's pretty clear on there. And this is a private link, so you won't be able to see it publicly available on our Eventbrite channel to make the purchase. And it's basically a free option. It's a special.
Oh. And I think we just lost Neha, did we? Neha, I think we just lost you from the video. We can just get you back in there again. So, we got Neha back. Yeah, we just lost Neha. So what she was going to, let me just stop there. What are you guys seeing? Let me just stop the sharing here. And so what Neha was just going to share with you is what the special offer is for the fact that you attended today. And that is, as she's mentioned, the pay what you can for the visioning workshop. And a visioning workshop, when we're talking about engaging meetings and how to make meetings or eliminate the boring meetings, how to make them not boring, but eliminate boring meetings. It's a great way to get everybody together and get everybody's ideas out on the table, regardless of what it is you're going to try and change. Giving everybody an opportunity to engage and to share what's in their minds, because trust me, everybody you work with has had amazing ideas in their heads for a long period of time. And what they're looking for is you, as their kind leader, to give them an opportunity to be able to actually share those ideas in a safe, fun space. So using things like Mural, which we showed you at the beginning with the world map, and you saw that template as well, gives people a really safe way of being able to get their ideas out there. And then what you do is you can develop a common vision. And now we have Neha back, so I'm going to let her take over.
I just closed the browser that I had open. That's just, it's perfect. I love it. I think it's great. So
I was just, you continue on, Neha. I was just talking about why a visioning workshop is a great way to engage people.
Yeah, and it's basically whatever works for you. You guys go ahead and pay what you can. And I just wanted to revert back on the slide, Alice, one more time, just to get back to the slide. Peace. Because there's actually 3 other options for you to get other people involved. And one of the options, in addition to a visioning workshop, which I can demo to you. So we're talking about demystifying the vision, but if you go to slide number 16 for me, Alice. Okay. So basically, these are 3 specific credentials that your team will achieve. So once you finish a visioning workshop, you'll get a credential like this that looks like, you've completed a visioning workshop, and your team gets that particular credential. And there is 3 different techniques that we use for you to actually engage your workforce. So the visioning workshop is what we're showing you now, teaching you now. We'll actually get into it. If you want to sign up for it, we can certainly get into the visioning workshop with you. There is 2 other options for you to engage your team, because, we can sit here and say, trust us. And that's what we try to do, is like, trust us. We're good. Trust us. It doesn't mean anything. Like, I know it's kind world and you should trust us, but we want us to show you rather than trust us. So in terms of showing you, next week we'll dive deeper into, not next week, but the next class, we'll dive deeper into the rapid process transformation workshop and the change awareness workshop. And I'm just going to go to my demo room just to show you. Let me just share my screen now. Hopefully I don't kick myself out again. That's always a good idea.
Well, it's not boring when you have to go out and come back in. It's fun.
Exactly. It is very exciting. So here is here is basically an example of what a rapid process transformation workshop looks like. You pretty much have very custom icons. So you're doing your digital tracking right here to see if are things going by email, SharePoint, paper. You have ideas of tech automation and things like that. And your people are actually doing this. Your people are actually putting the sticky notes on and filling it out. And what you end up with at the end of the day is basically they identify challenges that they're having within the process. And then when you can connect your technology to the challenges they're having through these ideas to say, oh, there's some delays here, how can we do this? Then that actually makes a huge difference in people's lives, because it's not you trying to show them. They're the ones saying, this is a problem I'm having. And then we brainstorm on how we can solve it. And then you can bring in those tech automation pieces. And now what you're doing is you're getting your people to identify the technology that they're looking to use and what they need to automate and things like that, and then going from there. So here's a really, it's a very, very brief example of just quickly showing you that the art of the possible and getting your team on the same page. So all we're doing is we're making sure that managers are the face of change, managers are leading change, and and you're enabled to move ahead. So I'll take Corbin said, question to consider: how often do you think change involves feedback from the person affected by the change? It's a good question. So I'm not sure how often we think change includes feedback from the people that are undergoing the change. Katharina Nordbeck, actually, I'm going to add Katharina. Katharina, can you hear us?
Yes.
So Katharina, we sent the studio link. So you're sitting in our studio right now on LinkedIn Live. So I'll get Corbin to actually send you a link to our full live stream stuff. We're almost at the end here, Katharina.
Okay, perfect.
I just that's an excellent. Yeah, well, thanks for joining us, Katrina. Did you prepare a slide deck? Are you ready to present? Oh no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. That's a great question, Corbin. And I just want to share something that I always try to remember is that nobody likes to be done to. People like to be done with. And so no matter how small the change may seem to you or how wonderful the idea is, because of course it's wonderful. You thought about it, you've worked on it for a long period of time. Of course it's wonderful. But to the person who's on the receiving end of it, to them, it's the 10th change they've been asked to make that day, or the 20th that's come at them this month. Because it's not just you, right? Everybody's excited about making change and making things better. And so the more you can engage through, those great engaging meetings, the more you can get people's ideas out, and in a safe, comfortable environment where it's no judgment. What do you think we should do? You will be astounded that people on the front line, whatever your system is, have been thinking for years about how to make what you do better. And when you engage them, make them comfortable, have a bit of fun, give them that opportunity through a whiteboard to share those ideas. Neha's showing you a great example on here right now. You will be astounded at the wisdom that's been in their heads. And then they're engaged, they're involved, they'll become your champions. They're the ones who need to be your champions because they're the ones doing the work. Oh, Neha, we lost your audio.
That's because I'm on mute. I was trying to be late, Alice. So the question always is, are you actually able to identify and define incoming change within your organization? And here's an example of a change workshop that we facilitate. That's really an empathy map. So when we talk about kind leadership, here, we talk about, okay, what are all the changes that are coming? Can you group them under your strat plan or what have you? And then we say, what do you think a general supervisor would have to do to go through the change? organization. A lot of leaders go, I don't know what they have to do. Well, what do you think they have to do? And that's an empathy map, right? So it's kind of like trying to understand what people have to do to go change and things like that. And then here's the general roadmap that you end up building. So a lot of organizations don't even have this. They don't have an understanding of what levels of their organization have to go through what amount of change. And this is an aha moment for quite a few people. So I think Alice was prompting me to share that particular. So when you talk about change awareness and that badge that would be given out, that would be another workshop that we do, which is a change awareness workshop. So we are at our time. Oh, Neha, imagine combining this with Lego Serious Play, says Noreen McChesney. Absolutely, Noreen. Only problem right now, unless you have an idea for us, is our LSP. So Alice is LSP certified. I'm LSP certified, which is Lego Serious Play. And we did a ton of work using Lego and change management. But now, with the sanitation issues and things like that, we, in-person Lego is few and far between, although we did do a really fun Lego exercise earlier, I think in April with Technica Mining. So that was really fun as well. So yeah. So this is really cool, everybody. Thank you for your time. Corbin, I'm just going to add you to the room right now. Are there any questions? Did it go well?
I don't see any questions coming from the audience right now. I did have one other one if we wanted to leave off on one more question.
Sure, go for it.
How often do you think change involves feedback? Oh, sorry. What do you think the biggest challenge is for us as humans working in this technical world with change adoption and all that kind of stuff considered?
It's a brilliant question. I think if anyone else has an idea, go ahead. I always have.
Yeah, I think it's I'm can put myself in this category. It's the fear of trying something new that you're not used to, right? So, I mean, if I think about it, when I started my first full-time job, there were 10 people in an office and we had one computer, and it didn't matter because only one person knew how to use it anyways. And the rest of us were all on paper. And so when I think about that, and now, my goodness, if we don't have half a dozen computer devices in our house, what's wrong with us, right? So I think it's always that fear of something new. And one of the nice things about the way in which we do our work is it gets people's hands in, even though you're not physically there. That's the wonderful part of Lego Serious Play. But even though you're not physically there in Mural, your hands are in there, you're physically putting up stickies, and it helps overcome that fear. And you can't break it. You can't break it. It can be messy. We can tidy it up. So I think it's whatever it takes to help people overcome that fear. An icebreaker, the way in which you lead, being kind, being understanding, not saying, come on, get with the times, right? Trying to get with the times, but it's really scary. Embrace that, right? Be empathetic and help them through that, because we all had to learn something new at some point, and it's not easy.
Yeah, I think I absolutely 100% agree with Alice. And I'm just going to reiterate something I heard very recently. And they were talking about advanced physics. So they were talking in relation to advanced physics. And it was a similar question. And I think that, the biggest challenge right now is actually seeing ourselves as just change being a nothing, like a non-event. So I think the challenge is people just are making a bigger deal out of change than it needs to be. And, the more you build the culture of expecting change versus like making it a big deal, I think then that's what will change. Just like when continuous improvement was first introduced, and I know it's not in every organization, it was this big deal, like, oh, continuous improvement, how do we make that happen? Continuous improvement is one form of ongoing change management, but the only difference is you now have to enable and create the cultural components in an organization for people to understand how to implement change in a systematic manner, but by getting people to come up with the ideas. Why are you taking all the work on as the manager, as the leader, as the CEO? Why aren't you asking your people to say, what do you see? How do you see your work being better, more productive, more safer? And let's take that and let's try something and let's go from there. So in about 5 years from now, or hopefully our jobs won't exist as change adoption facilitators, because people, it's just normal. Change is just constant, and it's going to continue to change. So I will send out a video at the, with actually one of our emails, and that video does show you how technology has rapidly advanced. It's significantly advanced, and new technologies coming out every instant. Even for our live streaming, we have 20 live streaming options that we have to pick from. And now we just have to share our learnings and say, how did it go for you, Karyn? How did it go for you, Corbin? And then decide on whether we stick with this live streaming option or pick a different one. So yeah, it's basically change is going to be boring eventually. And that's what we want it to be, is boring change. So thank you everybody who stayed with us this long. We really appreciate your time. This is our little heart that we're presenting to you. And thank you, Corbin, Karyn, Alice, and everyone that stayed included. Noreen said, one manager said to us about change, look, it's not that hard, people. That's true. It's really not that hard. And Noreen is actually doing LSP online. So I'd love to connect with you, Noreen, to see how you're actually doing LSP online. Okay, talk to you guys soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.